Greetings and greetings you all. Thank you for joining us again in this 5 minute spiritual quest. My name is Master Abdullah Ngom. And today in this 5 minute journey, we're going to talk about the tiers of empowerment. The tier of empowerment. There are three type of tiers that we share. Tier of sorrow, tier of happiness, and tier of empowerment. Tear of sorrow, when one pass, we shed tear of sorrow, tear of sadness. We have seen people shed tear of joy during happy moment, pleasant moment of triumph. People shed tear of joy. But today in this 5 minute journey, we're going to talk about the tear of empowerment, which many might label as a tear of weakness. The tear of empowerment on the 5 minute spiritual journey. Now, any journey, any journey is three stages: the beginning, the middle, and the end. The beginning is where you face physical challenges for what you need to gather things, for what you need for the journey. Start building. This way, many will not take you seriously, where you can get away with a lot of things because you will not be taken seriously most of the time. For that, you can get away with a lot of things. Now, in the middle, where the moment of struggle is a mental struggle, where you might start questioning yourself or questioning the journey altogether. So this is more mental when people start taking you seriously. Now, the third part, when people know beyond invisible doubt that you are serious and your potential to make it is real, that's where the battle is. That's where they're not just watching you getting away with things or just talking about nonsense or to shut you down. Now, this is where you face the battle. People really try to shut you down. That's what the battle is. And one thing you need to understand, they're not coming after you. They're coming after your ideas. The reason you're doing this, that troubles them. They always come for the reason, not the individual. This is very, very important to understand. When haters hating on you, they're not hating on you as an individual. They're hating on your ideas, what you represent or want to become. So you are not their problem, your ideas are. Why? Because they have mental illness. So it's crucial to understand how to separate yourself with the ideas. You as a cultivator, you who nurture the ideas, but not seeing you as the one they're hating on. Because when you see you as the idea, that's where whatever they do can affect you. Whatever they say can affect you. Because you think that they're coming after you. No, they're not coming after you. They're coming about your ideas, and you are not your ideas. You are the master of your ideas. You cultivate your ideas. You nurture your ideas. You build your ideas. The battle is the ideas. They're hating on your ideas. They're only going to hating on it. You're nurturing it. Now, when you get in the battlefield, that's where they're going to try to shoot it down. That's where they're going to try to destroy your ideas. And that's where you're going to stand to protect your ideas, to nurture your ideas. The battle is not you. It's about the ideas. So you will guide and protect the ideas. As a guardian and the master of the ideas. Guiding them from people who have mental problems, mental illness. Because there are billions of people in this world who probably have the same ideas. And if you're going hating on everyone who have the same ideas, that means something is not right here. So you're dealing with someone who's mentally disturbed. And when you're dealing with someone who's mentally disturbed on that level, you cannot see yourself in the same category or same capacity because they sick. That's why they want to destroy. They want to hate. They want to destroy. Now, on the beginning stage, where the challenges, people shed tear on the challenges based on the reason, because the idea, what they're going for, is beyond themselves. It's bigger than them. You see, there are people who's not going after selflessness. They're not selfish. They're going after something, or the reason for doing this is bigger than themselves. Can be on the level of the family household, or the level of a community, or the level of a nation, or the level of the collective at large. That's the reason for doing what they are embarked upon to do. So therefore, the tear that are shed in this stage are the tear, know that regardless of the difficulties or the challenging, not having resources, not having everything you need, or the struggle, that is not the reason for you to stop. It's no longer about what you want. It's about what you need to do. Because you embark upon a journey that's bigger than you. That's why people, even though they want to stop, they can't. And that sometimes can be very emotional. Because they're doing something bigger than themselves. And those tears are tears that can empower the spirit. Knowing that if it was just them, they probably would have stopped. But what they're doing is bigger than themselves. For that, they must keep going. Now, the second stage, this where the challenges is, the second stage, where you stand on a very shaky ground, the state of doubt, where you start doubting yourself, whether you have what it takes, whether this is worth it, why are they coming after you, why are they not supporting you, why, many whys. A very unstable ground, the ground of doubt. That's where many people, the most challenging one, that's where many people shed a lot of tears. But when you're in this situation, you have to hold on to one logic, which is that to realize that when you are on a unstable ground, the most reasonable, most effective method when you in the moment of doubt or shaky ground is never stop, because stopping will not stop the ground from shaking. It will be like a standing soldier marching, a soldier marching on, standing on the same spot, instead of using those that movement of marching, step and moving forward. Because marching and walking are two different realities, but the same movement though. When soldiers are marching, the movement of marching and the movement of walking are the same effort. The difference is, marching, you standing in one spot doing the same movement that you would do walking, going forward. That's the difference between marching and walking. So when you are in a moment of doubt, marching can be the worst idea to implement, marching instead of walking. Marching will not stop the ground from shaking, and eventually you will fall. And walking backward, meaning going back, whole lot more difficult than going forward when you're on the shaky ground. See, so this way a lot of people shed a lot of tears. This is one of the most challenging part when you're no longer certain about yourself or certain about the journey, questioning everything. Those who are supposed to help you, watching you, or hoping you to fall, or laughing at you, or mocking at you for standing on a shaky ground. Lot of situation that you will experience that can be a heavy duty on your mental capacity. But you cannot focus on the shaky ground. You have to focus on one objective. Move forward, get the hell out of there. Move forward, go forward. No standing there thinking, because that can never make things worse, or going backward, that can make things a whole lot worse because you will fall going backward. And falling, going backward, is a whole lot harder, way harder than moving forward. Physically and mentally, metaphorically, in any way you can look at it. Walking forward is way easier than walking backward, especially on a shaky ground. So when you're on a moment of doubt where the ground is shaky, the best thing to do, stop thinking and keep moving. Stop thinking and keep moving. Because that's the only one option. That's only one reasonable option that can work at your favor. Only one reasonable option that can work at your favor. In a moment of doubt, keep moving. Stop thinking and keep moving. Not backward, keep moving. Try to clear from that zone. Now, the third stage, the battlefield, where your physical capability from the beginning, the challenges, and the mental capacity to struggle. That's where you will need both when you stand in a battlefield. You physically trained, mentally ready for the battle. That's why this way you face, that's why this is physical and this is mental. The first stage is the physical part, where you gather the element you need for the journey. Now, when you start putting it together in the middle stage, that's where people start coming, doubting you or fight or questioning you. That's where the mental capacity comes. Now, when you pass the physical, pass the mental, that says beyond any reasonable doubt, you're ready for the battle. Whatever the setting is, whatever the condition is, you're ready for the battle. Because that's all you need. Physical and mental capacity to face any battle. That's why when you clear the stage, the middle stage, doubt, when you clear this shaky ground, that means you have what it takes physically and mentally for your battle. From that point, no other way but to go all the way. No other way but to go all the way, because you are ready. If you wasn't ready, you would stop here or here. But you pass physical, mental, what left? Fight the battle. Because you have what it takes. Reality have proven that you're ready. Where everybody doubting you, even you yourself start doubting yourself, doubting the journey, with people laughing at you, marking around you, do all kind of things for you to just surrender. Look like a fool. People wish you fall, conspire, gossiping, doing all those things which can drain you mentally. See? You pass that, what left? You're ready for your battle. You're ready for your battle. No, we do not. You're ready for the battle. And when you step in the battlefield, there's no time to question. There's no time to where's my resource. You already trained physically and mentally ready for the battle, just like a fighter. When the fighter step in the ring, it's not time to training. It's not time to think. It's time to fight. The training is at the gym. The thinking is before the ring. A lot of doubt, that's before the ring. But when you step in the ring, no time for training, no time to think, it's time to fight. Only one thing, fight, that's it. This is the 3 stage. When you step in the battlefield, it's time to fight. And whatever the setting is, you have to know within the depth of your soul, you are ready for the battle. And fight your battle to the very best of your capacity. Some people shed tear in the fighting moment, not tear of weakness, but tear of what? Tear of defiance. You see that sometimes, even is displayed in movies sometimes, or some fighters, kids, you see that kid in the school, the underdog, getting beaten, fighting, to a point where something in them just awaken, get triggered. Seems like they go crazy. Crying and fighting and crying, fighting. People have to hold them. Because they see they are the underdog and the only one option for them to prevail or to save themselves is give somewhat everything they have in them, physical and mental, somewhat all in them, and put it into action. Put it into action. They're throwing punch, kicking, crying, tear of defiance. And it can be very intimidating, even watching a child doing that. That is not tear of weakness, tear of defiance. One who know only one option they have available that can work at their favor is give everything they got. Summon all that in them, physical and mental, put it into work. Put it into work. Put it into work. We see the underdogs triumph against all odds. We have seen the underdogs triumph against all odds. Because that seed within them activated. That seed of defiance activated. So sometimes when they triumph, they still cry. For realizing that force that within them. So all tears are not tears of weakness. There are some tears are tears of defiance. Tears that empower the spirit. We have the saying, a big boy don't cry or men don't cry, all those things. Numb your soul for not to cry, that's a technique, that's easy. And that's how the evil system operates. To numb one's soul, not to feel. So therefore, they will be able to do so many horrible things without feeling it. As a big man don't cry. Or say crying is a weakness. No, crying is one whose soul is alive. And when your soul is numb, not to feel emotion, your soul can be used to do horrible things. When your soul is numb, not to feel emotions, your soul can be used to do horrible things and not feeling no remorse for doing so. But a true warrior, some, so, someone who have a strength, is someone who can feel the soul. Someone who can feel the soul. Someone who can feed the spirit. And there are some tier. There are more powerful energy source that can feed any soul, that can empower any spirit. When I was writing the Five Element, this journey, when I used to cry a lot. I used to cry like a baby. To a point I couldn't understand. I asked, why am I crying? Why I cannot stop tearing? Why? I'm writing, in the middle of writing, here am I just crying without able to stop, without able to hold my emotion, without able to stop, just tearing, crying, crying, crying. I could not understand why. Why, God, why, why? And what I got out of it, if God was a human, he would be crying non-stop as well. If God was a human walking among us, he would be crying non-stop as well. Because God created the soul to be sensitive, to be kind, to be gentle, full of emotions, remorseful, instead of cold-hearted, hard as a stone. So I think it's crucial to go back to our sensitivity, to nurture our soul, because a sensitive soul is a soul that is alive. And when your soul is alive, you will feel many of the sufferings of this world with your families, with your neighbors, with your nation, with the entire world. You will feel their concern be your concern. You will feel their pain. You will feel their pains. So shedding tears is not weakness. It can be the healthiest thing for a soul. So I think I'm going to leave it here till next time. And as always, be well and God bless you all. And thank you for tuning in.